2020. Today our pose is straddle handstand and our drill is going to be straddle with the wall. So you're going to be making a straddle upside down. So if you want, sit to where you're more in like a little bit of a V/straddle in between those two shapes to figure out where you should place your hands. But once you get upside down, you'll figure out if you need to move your hands forward or back. Today we're going to do 15 seconds off, 25 seconds on, and because we're going to be on our hands a lot, whenever you're in those 15 seconds, maybe take some sort of a wrist stretch that feels best for you. All right, to get us started, 15-second countdown is on. We're going to come up, feet on the wall, walk your hands to wherever feels best. And like I said, you might have to do a few. I'm going to take my gaze and face it to the wall, tuck my tail, and then from here, that ding means go. So I'm going to try and straddle and then squeeze through the inner thighs. Now, one thing to note, well, there's a lot of things, but main thing right now, watch my tail is tucked versus released. We do not want that. That collapses everything and it's very hard on our body. Push through your hands, push through those shoulder protraction drills, pull into the core, tuck the tail slightly, and keep it tucked as you go. 1 second, and pull the belly in, tuck that tail, straddle, and then squeeze it up. This would be much easier if I didn't have that door thing in the way there, but we're going to work with it. So as you pull up, you're trying to push up a little bit taller, pull through that belly, pull through that core, and keep reaching with it. And then like I said, come down, stretch out your wrists, do whatever you need, stretch out your shoulders, and then we'll go back into it in 1 second. So push back up, and again, play with how far your straddle goes. So if it's more like a V, that's fine. Or, I'm going to scoot over a little bit, you can go more into that straddle shape and push back up, keeping that tail tucked as best you can. So I kind of like that better because I feel the stacking over my hips a little bit more with that straddle shape. So that might be good. Let's go one more time around with it. We got it. Or maybe 2 more times around. All right, push. Feel that stabilization through your shoulders, through your core, and then start to straddle with it. So whenever I come up and my legs are together, I'm pulling my belly in a little bit deeper, and I'm trying to push up a little bit more. Okay, now we have 1 more round with it. You got it. Maybe. Sorry, I forget what I said on here. We'll hear if it's a, oh, yeah, 1 more time. Push up, pull the belly in, tuck the tail, and straddle with it and come back up. And also I like the gaze facing the wall here to take a little bit of the tension out of the neck. And then I feel like I get better range of motion with the shoulder protraction as well. There's our dinger. Okay, so that's our drill. Take a moment to stretch out your wrists, forearms, shoulders, whatever you need to, and then we'll get our straddle shape. Okay, for straddle handstand, we want to make sure that we're drawing up through each vertebrae instead of compressing whenever we come into our straddle. And I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. So if we come into our straight handstand, pushing through those hands, feeling those shoulders up by your ears, pull the belly in, tuck the tail. So we find that straight handstand. A lot of times when we straddle, we're going to find it here, and that's through the flexibility of our inner thighs. Now, this but notice how my hips tilt back. Try to keep them tilting forward, and then lengthen and use the flexibility through the inner thighs and glutes by contracting through your quadriceps. So that will help. Contract your quadriceps and hip flexors to draw the legs into that straddle shape. You might find imbalances, and we find this a lot whenever we do our straddle shape. If one leg is a little bit lower than the other, might have to do with the strength and or flexibility, so the strength of the hip flexors and quads, or the flexibility of your hamstrings. So if you notice that one side goes down more than the other, or vice versa, just take a moment to look at that and then feel in your body. Sometimes you'll feel a difference whenever you squat into Malasana pose. One side might be tighter than the other. Just take note. It's all about taking notes and then seeing where you can try to even out your practice in general versus, your practice in general with the strength and flexibility of what's going on whenever you feel that straddle. One way that you can also work it is jumping into your straddle. So starting with your feet about wider than hip width apart, and bend through the knees. That gaze is a little bit in front of my hands here. I'm going to hop and feel how those hips try to stack. Hop, feel how those hips try to stack. Now, feel the stack, maybe catch it, and then push out through the bottoms of your feet while you tuck that tail up and in, and then from there, squeeze the hamstrings, hip flexors activate, and find a straddle shape. So that might be a more stable way to approach the straddle shape. It's a really fun one to work with. So if you're not feeling it at all, stay upright with it and just come into the V. You also might want to work on rotating the legs. Okay, I'll show it from this angle. So what I mean by that is coming into your handstand, pushing up, tucking the tail, and then see how my toes are facing, and then they're out, and then down, out, and down. You can play with that. Take them out, and then see if you can draw down into your straddle more. So if my feet are like that, maybe this angle, we'll see. So what I'm talking about is watch my toes. Here, toes, there. So I'm trying to do my straddle like that, and now then I rotate them out. See that difference here? There. Yeah, that might help. That might be like a real game changer for some. Okay, all right. I think that's it for today. Hope you have a good one.